Good evening. I'd like to call the 16th meeting of the Mayor and City Council on Monday, September 12th, 2022 to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. DeWalt,
Here.
Mr. Cole,
Here.
Mr. Mitchell,
Here.
Mr. Sidnor,
Here.
President Smith,
Here.
Mayor Mel.
All right. Agenda item 3, moving on to approval of minutes of the work session on June 1st, 2022, the 13th meeting on June 6th, the 14th meeting on June 27th, the work session on July 6th, and the 15th meeting on July 11th, 2022. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, if I could add, the minutes from July the 11th don't include the report of the mayor and council. If we could defer approval on those minutes until the next meeting and just
Okay.
approve the others. Thank you.
All right, well, not including the meeting on July 11th, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve minutes as read in the record, except the minutes on July 11th.
A second,
I'll second.
any discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith.
Yes. Moving on to agenda item number 4, the report of the Mayor and City Council. I'll start with myself, and I'll try to just list down on July 21st, I was at the retirement celebration of Corporal Johnson and also the Citizens Police Academy graduation. July 26th was at Landlord Tenants' Rights. It was hosted by the City of Laurel. July 27th, the grand reopening of Chuck E. Cheese. August 2nd, National Night Out. Great job, Laurel Police. August 6th, I was at the Care Fest of the first Afro-Caribbean festival here in the city of Laurel that was spearheaded by me. We had roughly over 4,000 people. It was a great time. Looking forward to having that continue here in the city and also finding other ways to engage with the community. It was great to see the police out there in uniform, engaging with the community. Everyone was smiling, having a great time. The food is great, the vendors, and I want to thank everyone for coming out. Going on to August 8th, there we had a business tour that was connected by Councilman Mitchell at Greenpoint and Hemp Haven. August 19th, the Laurel Police Department Cops Camp graduation. Congrats to them on another successful Cops Camp. August 24th, I was joined by Councilman Cole and the Laurel Police Department for the Laurel Project PB&J with the Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Center. August 29th, I attended the STEM certification unveiling ceremony at the St. Mary of the Mills. Also in attendance there was I won't steal the shine, but Councilman Mitchell. August 26th, I attended a mixer for the stillborn and infant loss support. I was also joined by the city administrator, Pulley. It was a great event, connecting with them. They're doing great work here in Prince George's, and we're proud to have them here in the city of Laurel. On August 29th, and September 3rd, I was at Emancipation Day, and that was a great event, seeing the community come together, seeing the police out there. That's my first time spending almost all day with them there. The parade was beautiful. They had marching bands and all, and I'm looking forward to coming out to more. I was joined by Councilman Cole, and I'm sure Mitchell was out there as well. And I know I saw Councilman Sidnor on earlier with the race with the police. That was great. And September 10th, I stopped by Sustainable Saturday for probably almost before the last hour of it. Again, I saw Councilman Cole there. I saw the mayor there as well. I'm not sure about the other council members that came, but it was a great event. The community was out there. It was a beautiful sight, and looking forward to what else is to come with that group there. So that's all for my report, and I'll move on to Councilman Sidnor.
Thank you, Council President Smith. I'll just start with the recent and work my way down. Like I said, on September 3rd, I attended, actually I participated in the 5K for diabetes. Deputy Chief was out there also. Want to congratulate Deputy Chief for him and I being a 50-year-old man. He came in 14th place, and I think I came in 24th place. So we was representing the Old Man Club out there. Also on August 31st, the 100 Black Men of Prince George County hosted a blood drive. I'm a member of that organization, and it's very important that African Americans give blood. That's why it's hosted, trying to get African Americans to get blood. Because sickle cell is common in the African American community, and so we need a lot of African Americans or people from Black descent to get blood to help those individuals with sickle cell. August 27th, I went to DC. One of the commissioners in DC that I'm good friends with hosted a summit in DC on stopping the violence. So I help them with that summit in DC. Cop camp, like Councilmember Smith said. We're just gonna highlight the other two things. Safe Summer Night. We had one for the boys, had one for the girls. I want to thank Park Recreation for helping me put it together. As you know, the county executive have a curfew out because a lot of violence is going on among teenagers. And I think that's one of the reasons why we want to do the Safe Summer Night, to encourage kids not doing any violence, keep them safe. And also, just as a plug for Prince George County Public School Systems, they're 900 teachers short starting the school year. I stepped up and helped the community out, working at CMIT Middle School as a gym teacher, and it's rough already. I don't know if I can make it the whole semester, but I'm gonna give my best shot. So anybody out there, Prince George County Public School System need teachers. Long term, they need teachers, but they can't get teachers in place. They need a long term substitute. So whatever subject you're familiar in, you can teach. Please apply. Help the county out. That concludes my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Sidnor. To Councilman DeWalt.
Good evening, everyone. Along with President Smith, I attended Officer Corporal Johnson's retirement. God bless you, Joe. Congratulations on a wonderful career in the with the Laurel Police Department and serving our citizens, especially the young adults and the children in our community. You will be sorely missed. I too was at Chuck E. Cheese. Brought back a lot of memories. We used to actually work there as police officers on the weekends when they served beer at the establishment, and now they don't. I also went to the festival sponsored by Council President Smith. It was a fabulous, fabulous event. The amount of people that turned out was incredible. They had great food and music, and I understand that there wasn't even one single incident, which was fabulous. People just enjoying the good times of food and the music. Also, National Night Out. This was the first year that Corporal or Sergeant Tony Miskovich got that underway, and he did an excellent job with that, along with the kids camp, the cops camp up at Laurel Lakes. It was his first time doing that, and he did a splendid job there. I had mixed feelings when I first saw the curfew in Prince George's County, but after reading it, I think it was long overdue that we now have a curfew in Prince George's County because of the violent spike in carjackings and stolen cars and things like that being done by juveniles in our area. And I think this curfew will help give the police and legislators and people in our justice system a little bit extra as far as to get these ones that are causing all the trouble off the street. It's been 21 years since 9/11. Over the weekend, we reached the 21-year mark. I spent the weekend up at the Flight 93 Memorial. On that day, 21 years ago, the World Trade Center was attacked by terrorists. The Pentagon was attacked by terrorists. And then there was Flight 93, which left 25 minutes late to take off due to congestion and stuff at the airport. And it was headed to California. And when it got around the area of Cleveland, the terrorists stormed the cockpit and took control of it. And right around Cleveland, they turned it around. And what many believe that they have proof that that plane was then headed for the Capitol in DC, which was going to be a 20-mile flight. The 40 citizens that were aboard that airplane decided it was time to take action. And they all got together. They stormed the cockpit, and on the way headed back to the Capitol, the plane crashed in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And there's now a memorial there. Pennsylvania did a extremely fabulous job on this memorial. It's really heartbreaking when you go through it. I've been there many times, and it's just a tribute to the 40 individuals that gave their life for our country. May we never forget. That's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman DeWalt. Councilman Mitchell.
Yes, give me 1 second, let me scroll to the top. So what I have, July 7th, I was able to attend a press conference announcing a rent strike for CASA. July 12th, I was able to attend a meeting with Schweb Partners in CASA to discuss the concerns. On the 15th of July, I went to the Parks and Recs outdoor movies. We saw Luca, the kids and I. So that was a great program by Parks and Rec. The 23rd of July, I went to the Laurel Volunteer Rescue Banquet and Dinner with Councilmember DeWalt. And it was very impressive to learn about all the, how many runs they actually go on, and, you know, how, you know, basically their whole family is involved. So it was a great experience, and, you know, I look forward to going next year. The 25th of July, I went on a site visit at Paddock Point with Howard County Councilwoman Christiana Rigby. On the 27th of July, I went to the Chuck E. Cheese opening with the twins, and it was great. They loved it. On the 2nd, I attended National Night Out at the lake at Goody Lake. On the 4th, I went to the Laurel Resist General Body meeting at St. Philip's Church. The 5th of August and the 6th of August was my grandmother's 81st birthday celebration. And we got to celebrate at a bunch of city facilities like the Greenview Cabana, and also the pavilions down there by Main Street, right by Riverfront. So that was a great weekend, and a lot of people enjoyed that one. August 6th, I did a community give back with MJ Connect at the Laurel Boys and Girls Club. Hemp Haven sponsored. Hemp Haven was a sponsor, and Hunger Free Zone came out and gave out free vegan meals. And we were able to support about 75 families with school supplies, clothing, masks, and COVID tests. That same day, I was able to go to council members' Cara Festa celebration, in which you know, I was able to enjoy with the family, and, you know, had some people come from out of town and enjoy it as well. So I definitely look forward to you know, continued, you know, activities. Also on that day, I was able to attend the Laurel Housing Justice Coalition meeting at the Laurel Boys and Girls Club. And later that night, I went to Live Casino and watched Damon Nicholson win his boxing match by TKO in the 3rd round. So, you know, he is a Laurel legend. And then on the 8th, I went with council colleagues on a tour of Hemp Haven and Greenpoint Wellness Center. And then on the 8th was National CBD Day. So I was able to help celebrate with a hemp happy hour at one of our brand new establishments, Acapulco. And on the 11th, I went to the Summer Talent Series the Town Center of Laurel. They do a great summer concert series. So Tony Luke was one of the performers. And I think I actually saw Council President Smith there. And on the 13th was the family fun time at the Laurel Town Center. So I took the twins and they had face painting, balloons, arts and crafts and such. On the 15th, I went with the city council to the Patuxent Greens and, got to walk with some of the constituents and, hear some of their concerns firsthand and just got to meet some of the new residents. August 16th, I went to a Pride Committee fundraiser at Olive on Main. It was very well attended, and I definitely look forward to the Pride celebration coming up. And on the 17th, I went to a second meeting, Westgate with the tenant landlord meeting. On the 18th, I went to Laurel Resist General Body meeting at Acapulco. Then on the 19th of August, the Cops Camp's graduation at Goody Granville Lake. On the 20th of August, the Prince George's County Democrats had their election, so I was able to successfully pass the baton because the last 3 years I was serving as president. Then we did a meet and greet with the Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee at a local restaurant in Hyattsville, Trinity Grill and Bar. Later that day, I went to Caribbean Express where they had a DMV a kickback, and it was a good event. And then I went later that night to the MD Civil Rights Commission Gala at Live Casino Ballroom. On that Sunday, the 21st of August, I went to the 74th Japan American Student Conference. It was virtual, and I was on there with Delegate Gabriel Acevedo from Montgomery County and Natasha Andrews from National Association of Black Cannabis Lawyers. So we were able to talk to them about different drug policy. And I also went later that night to the Bobal Connor Sheffield Foundation Cannabis, and all funds and research go to medical science, cannabis science and research. On the 24th, I attended the District 1 Coffee Club, where I got to, hear the issues not only in the city of Laurel, but some of our surrounding cities, especially in regards to public safety. On the 26th, I did an end of the summer luncheon at the Laurel Lake Senior Apartments, where we celebrated Miss Lyons' 71st birthday, and also they got to get lunch from Acapulco. So they were very excited. On the 27th of August, I did a back to school giveaway at the Laurel Boys and Girls Club. I want to give a big shout out to the sponsors, CDL Book Club, Notes and Jokes, and Thrifty Teacher. And of course, the Laurel Boys and Girls Club for letting us use their space. As always, August 27th, I went to the same day, the afternoon, I went to the second annual Angels Having Back to School Drive right there by Greenview. April Williams, she's the CEO. And on the 29th, I went to the STEM unveiling at the St. Mary of the Mills Church. On September 8th, we had the Citizens Advisory Committee for Disabilities meeting, and we got to hear from a new group called Autism Allies. So they came to present to the group. And September 10th, I attended Sustainable Saturday with the twins. And yesterday, my 32nd birthday, I attended the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department's monthly breakfast. So I look forward to attending, those in the future. And October 1st, I'll be doing a record clearing clinic. So definitely look out for the details about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mitchell, and happy birthday to you. Want to wish you a happy birthday, prosperous year, working here on the council and just being a great guy here in our community. And lastly, moving on to Councilman Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. I'll try to keep this brief. A lot of the events I attended over the last month and a half have already been mentioned. I did want to thank everyone as chairman of the Environmental Affairs Committee for coming out to Sustainable Saturday this past Saturday. It was a huge success. We're looking forward to using that lot more going forward for the future farmers market returning in 2023. I also attended Coffee with the Cops a couple weeks ago. I think it's very important to make sure that our police are having community engagement. The Coffee with the Cops, for those that have never been, is at different coffee spots throughout the city. This past Thursday, I attended crisis leadership training that was presented by TEEPS through FEMA funding with other city officials. And then just on my off time, it has not been an official event, but as I've gone through Old Town and any place else in the city, you'll notice that a lot of the street lights are turning purple or blue. These are a national manufacturer defect. BG&E has a website where you can go on, find the location of your light and report that it's malfunctioning. I've reported 20 street lights so far. It takes about 4 weeks, but all 20 have been repaired and put back in working order. So I encourage all residents to go in, report your lights. It will help the safety of the neighborhood. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Cole. Moving on to Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few things I'll highlight to speed things up here. July the 17th, I did attend the 629 Battalion of the Army National Guard Community Day at Granville Goody Park. It's an annual event that they do until COVID hit, and we were glad to have them back and glad to be part of that. Welcome them. I also want to congratulate and thank Corporal Joe Johnson for all his work that he's done over the years here in the city of Laurel, and was glad to be able to attend his retirement celebration that the police department put on over at Partnership Hall. As well as let me congratulate all the award recipients of the Laurel Volunteer Rescue Squad at their awards banquet. Again, the work that the men and women of the Laurel Rescue Squad do day in and day out is always noticeable, and they are very busy. And again, just want to thank them for that opportunity to be with them. The 27th, we did do the 40-year anniversary of the Chuck E. Cheese, the reopening, and I was glad to take part of that. As well as on the 27th, I had the opportunity to visit and talk about the process and what we are doing with the multi-service center to the Fish Board of Directors. Look forward to meeting with them again. And then I was invited to 108th birthday celebration for Sally M. Washington over at the Parkview at Laurel, and was glad to be there and give her a couple gifts on behalf of the city. On August, we did have a PGCMA meeting with Senator Ben Cardin, and I want to thank him. He's always there for the mayors and the members of the council. So it was good to have that opportunity to discuss some issues. Back in August the 2nd, we did do Toucan Taco, their 50th anniversary. We went down, had lunch, and gave them a proclamation presentation as well. That was the same later that evening, the National Night Out. I want to thank members of the police department for all their work in putting that event on. It's well attended, and I think families really do enjoy that night. The family time at the town center, again, was an opportunity for families to come together, and I appreciate the invitation. Being there and seeing a lot of friends and making some new ones as well. We did have the opportunity to tour the facility at Karma Inc., which is a community-based residential service provider here in the city that provides homes and services to adults that have disabilities in Prince George's and Montgomery County. I want to congratulate them for 30 years and thank them for the opportunity for their facility. And as always, the COPS Camp's graduation, and really want to congratulate the kids who put up and did a lot of work for the week, as well as the men and women in our police department who do an outstanding job with COP Camp. And it takes a lot of people to put that on, a lot of coordination. And again, Chief, I know you're on the line. Congratulations to Laurel Police Department for that. The other day, we'd have the opportunity to tour the composting facility in Upper Marlboro, and I appreciate Ms. Blair putting that on and the individuals there at the site. It was an educational experience, and we appreciate them taking the time, as well as Michelle, who put on the, along with others, the first Sustainable Saturday. As I said, that'll be the first, and we'll be doing other events, and I want to really thank the businesses as well as the vendors, the nonprofits that were there to really help put this on and make this a worthwhile event. Later that day, I did go by and the Doggy Dip Day turned out to be looked like hundreds of dogs there. So they all had a good time. I want to thank Department of Park and Recreation for putting that on. Later that evening, I did attend the Prince George County Volunteer Fire and Rescue Association Memorial Service. This year, they did honor former council member Ed Ricks and former spokesperson for the city of Laurel, Jim Collins, and very nice ceremony and memorial service for not only those two, but others throughout the county. And then I want to thank the American Legion Post 60 for the invitation to be with them to remember 9/11. The American Legion does an outstanding job and made sure that, and is making sure that we don't forget about what happened on September the 11th. Just a couple announcements. On September the 14th, City Hall in the Park will be over at Centennial Park, 6:30 to 8. There is a special work session of the Mayor and City Council to discuss housing policies here in the council chambers on September the 21st. Mr. President, I do have a proclamation I would like to read in. It's Proclamation 2022-25. Whereas for many families and businesses, a business is more than a job. It is the fulfillment of a dream, a better life, and a family legacy, a place in the community. And whereas minority businesses in particular are the heart and the soul of many communities, including the city of Laurel, and whereas during Minority Enterprise Development Week, we recognize that our city and our local economy are stronger because of the hardworking men and women who comprise the city of Laurel's minority business community. And whereas even as COVID-19 pandemic continues to test our businesses, minority business enterprise, MBEs, and minority business owners have shown remarkable resilience, working around the clock and adapting to the changes to keep their business running and their employees working. And now, therefore, I, Craig A. Moe, the Mayor of the City of Laurel, do hereby proclaim September the 18th through the 24th, 2022, it's Minority Enterprise Development Week in the City of Laurel. Encourage all residents to acknowledge and to celebrate the achievements and contributions of minority businesses in the City of Laurel. And we'll make sure we put that out as well. Last thing I wanted to make sure the community knew, two things is did have the opportunity to attend the Laurel Fire Department Auxiliaries Breakfast. They are again starting those up. It'll be the second Sunday of every month, starting at 8:30 until 11 for $10. And encourage those to participate and take part in their breakfasts. It's all you can eat. And lastly, Mr. President, I did want to remind everybody, the city of Laurel has had a truancy and a curfew policy for over 20 years here in the city of Laurel. Pretty much what the county has put it is modeled after what we have done. That is a tool in the toolbox that our officers have had for over 20 some years. It works well and it's used when it's needed. But I do want to remind everybody that we have one in the city. It's been in place. And although the counties may stop in 30 days, ours can continue. With that said, Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, moving on to agenda item 5, mayor appointments and reappointments. All right. Mayor Moe submitted the appointment of James Cornwell-Shiel, Director of Department of Information Technology, in a memorandum dated August 26, 2022. Mayor, would you like to say anything?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As you know, the retirement of Kevin Frost is fast approaching, who is the current director and the CIO of the City of Laurel's Information Technology. I'm pleased to appoint James A. Cornwell-Shiel as the Chief Information Officer of the Department of Information Technology for the City of Laurel. James has served as the deputy since 2019. He fully understands the many challenges facing the city each day regarding information technology. Director Frost has highly recommended him to become the director. James also shows great leadership, judgment, and management skills, has kept the department's day-to-day operations safe and operational from outside sources trying to disrupt the City of Laurel's government operations. He is professional and has good understanding of the department, the community of Laurel, and most importantly, city policies, regulation, and procedures to ensure our employees, residents, and business community are assisted in a timely manner with dealing with IT issues and concerns. I've been impressed with his many skills and abilities, get things done, and I believe that James is the best choice to be Laurel's next Chief Information Officer for the Director of Information Technology. And I would ask for council concurrence. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'll motion that we accept the nomination of James Cornwell-Shields to deputy or to the Director of IT.
Can I get a second?
I second, Mr. President.
Any discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith.
Yes. All right, thank you. And moving on, Mayor Mo submitted the following
Mr.
appointments.
President?
Yes,
I'm sorry. Mr. Cornwell is on the line, and I didn't know if you'd allow him just an opportunity if he wanted to say anything. I thank the council, Mr. President. Thank you. James, you want to say anything?
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you all very much for this opportunity to continue to serve the city of Laurel. I really look forward to being part of this leadership team and with all of you to further your goals to help the citizens of Laurel and the city staff in executing their duties.
thank you, James. Looking forward to working with you as well. We're very familiar with you and we're very confident, just as Director Frost appointed you and the mayor's confidence in appointing you there. So we're looking forward to this.
Thank you, Council President.
Moving on to next appointments and reappointments. Mayor Mo submitted the following appointments and reappointments in a memorandum dated September 8th, 2022. Troy Griffith, Juneteenth Executive Committee. Excuse me if I mess up your name. Ria Modesti, Juneteenth Executive Committee. The reappointments of Richard Klutkan, Public Safety and Transportation. Roy Smith, Public Safety and Transportation, and Charles Clyburn for the Arts Council. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion to accept the appointment, all the names you read on the record, sir.
All right, and can I get a second?
Mr. President, I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith.
Yes. All right, moving on to agenda item 6. City Administrator appointment of Sara Green, CMC, Clerk to the Council. Ms. Pulley submitted the appointment in a memorandum dated dated, I don't have the full date here. It was, do you have the date, Madam Clerk?
Mr. President, my apologies. The memo is dated September the 6th.
All right, dated September the 6th, 2022. Christian, sorry, City Administrator Pulley, do you have anything to say?
Hi, good evening, Mayor Mo, Mr. President, council members. I am pleased to appoint Ms. Sara A. Green, CMC, as the next clerk to the City Council with the pending retirement of Ms. Kim Brown. Ms. Green meets all the qualifications for the position. She is a certified municipal clerk and is working towards her Master Municipal Clerk certification from the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. She is a graduate of the University of Maryland's Academy of Excellence program. She is currently enrolled in the Maryland Certified Public Manager program through the University of Baltimore Schaefer Center for Public Policy. Ms. Green also currently serves on MML's Legislative Committee for the city. Ms. Green joined the City of Laurel Department of Development Management in 2001 and has held various positions in other city departments. In her role as Community Development Coordinator in the Economic and Community Development Department, she served as the Secretary to the Planning Commission, Board of Appeals, and Master Plan Review Committee, a vital position since the city is the only municipality in Prince George's County with zoning authority. And Ms. Green had to ensure that all legal requirements were met for zoning applications as well as annexation petitions, as well as compliance with the Maryland Open Meetings Act. Since 2017, Ms. Green has worked in the mayor's office as the executive assistant and then appointed the mayor's chief of staff, where she is currently responsible for the effective management and supervision of the administrative support of the mayor's office. Furthermore, Ms. Green has worked together with Ms. Rao on tracking legislation and attending the Prince George's County House delegation in the Maryland General Assembly meetings during the last few legislative sessions. She was very instrumental in assisting Ms. Rao and the Board of Election Supervisors during the 2021 election process. Ms. Green's professionalism, leadership, critical thinking, communication, organizational, and management skills, as well as her vast knowledge of city government, the legislative process, and council office, makes her a premier appointment as a city clerk, and I ask for your confirmation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, City Administrator Pulley. Madam Clerk, is there anything you'd like to add?
Mr. President, council members, thank you for the opportunity to add my support to the appointment of Ms. Green. As you know, I'm preparing to retire at the end of the year, and I have great confidence in her abilities to come in and to serve the elected officials as well as the citizens of Laurel. I've known Ms. Green 20 years that she's worked for the city. She's always been a professional, and I do believe that she will serve well the elected officials to come, many councils and mayors in the future, like myself. So that's all. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Well, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make the motion to appoint Ms. Green as next council clerk of the city council.
All right, and can I get a second?
Mr. President, I'll second that motion.
All right. Any discussion?
Mr. President, I'd like to say something.
Sure.
I just want to say that over the past couple of months, when Ms. Rao is out, whether she's out of the office sick or on vacation, Ms. Green has been covering for her, and I've enjoyed working with her as she covers our emails, answers questions during that time. I think she is very qualified to be our next clerk. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Any more discussion?
Yeah, may I say something?
Sure.
I agree with, of course, James and Admin Pulley and Ms. Rao that Sara is very qualified. Of course, I think I mentioned to you and expressed to the administration that I had concerns that, we didn't really interview outside and that this was more of an internal promotion. I know that, there's been a history of nepotism and cronyism as far as, City Hall. So that's still my concern, and I just wanted to give that before explaining my vote.
All right. Is that any more discussion before we call the vote?
Mr. President, if I might, I just want to clarify something for the record. There's absolutely no nepotism here in the city of Laurel. There's been a full report that was done on accusations that found no wrongdoing, and we follow all procedure. So I just want to correct that. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. And any more discussion before I call the vote?
Mr. President, can I say a couple words?
Sure, Councilman DeWalt.
This came on us kind of quick all of a sudden. I wish I had my video on so you could actually see what I'm talking about. But the whole thing is, Sara was put into the Fire Marshal Code Enforcement Office, I guess, maybe to try to help that division out. Last that I checked on the city website with that department, we were 4 or 5 people down still in that agency. And we have the head of the agency going out and performing inspections. when I feel that we need some sort of manager that could really get things done as far as that code enforcement division goes. And that's where Sarah's coming from. So those are my only reservations. I trust in what Kim says 100% because Kim has been such a great clerk. I wish we would look for other individuals instead of just suddenly getting this done. But I get all kind of complaints about this code enforcement department and these inspections and things, and I am still leery of Patuxent Greens and Overlook, which are very sensitive areas, and that we're not getting the people out there. Just drive around the city. You'll see the tall grass. You'll see all kind of violations in this city that are continually going on. And last that I checked, I said we had 4 or 5 open because we weren't offering enough money to bring anybody into our city. And even Christian mentioned it about we brag about all the time that we're the only municipality in the whole state that has our own code enforcement. Well, it's not cutting it. We need to crack down on that division, and we need to get more quality people hired, and we need to get these inspection done. Because I won't vote for anything anymore as far as development or anything like that, because that lawsuit that comes down 5, 10, 15 years where it wasn't done right because it wasn't inspected, I won't be on it. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman DeWalt. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, we do already have a motion and a second. You
Oh,
can
yeah,
call for
I'm
the vote.
sorry. That was the discussion. Thank you for that. All right, Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes, 100%.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
No.
President Smith.
Yes.
Congratulations, Ms. Green.
Ms. Green, would you like to say something if you're on?
Thank you. Yes, Mr. President. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the mayor, the administration, both past and present, and Ms. Rao for believing in me and guiding me throughout my career. I'd also like to thank the city council for supporting me and entrusting me with this important role. And I look forward to continuing to work with everyone for the good of our citizens. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Green, and congratulations. Looking forward to getting work done, and we know you'll be able to get on that soon, since our clerk is leaving, and we're gonna miss Ms. Rao a lot. But I'm sure you will fill the shoes. They're big shoes to fill, and you're working with the dynamic council who does a lot. So I'm sure we'll be putting you to work, and we're happy to have you. All right. Moving on to agenda item number 7, general public hearing. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak?
Yes, Mr. President, we do have a lady signed up to speak. Her name is Kelly Orozco. She lives on Montrose Avenue. And Ms. Carrasco, Mr. President, if you would open the general public hearing and then call on Ms. Orozco.
Okay. I'm going to open the general public hearing at 6:43 p.m. Ms. Carrasco?
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Kelly. So as Ms. Rao said, I live on Montrose Avenue. I just wanted to bring attention to what's been going on our street, basically this whole year. So if you've ever driven past this area, there's two-way traffic. And in the past few months, there's been a lot of accidents happening due to the velocity that people are going. So just today, there was an accident. There was one last week. And then there was one a few months ago where the car even flipped. Unsure if you guys have seen or heard of these accidents, but they are happening very often. My neighbors are often getting their mirrors hit, or the actual sides of their cars are getting hit. So I just wanted to bring attention to this, because not only is people's property getting hurt, but people who are on the sidewalk could potentially be injured. because the cars do tend to like get up on the side of the curb. So anyone who's walking during that moment could be in danger. I don't know what could be done. I would recommend a speed bump, but again, I don't know the rules and regulations and obstacles, but just to bring attention to this and see if there's anything that could be done.
Thank you for that, Ms. Carrasco. We'll take that into consideration, and I'm sure the mayor and his administration will look over the policy and what they have in place right now and look at the trouble areas. So we appreciate you speaking up on that.
Thank you.
Mr. President, what's that address she's complaining about?
Montrose, you said Montrose Avenue, Ms. Carrasco?
Yes, Montrose Avenue, specifically right in front of 702 Montrose Avenue.
702.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Montrose. I mean, sorry, Ms. Carrasco. All right, Madam Clerk, is there anyone else signed up to speak?
Mr. President, there's no one else signed up to speak.
All right, I'm gonna close the general public hearing at 6:46 p.m. Moving on to agenda item 8A, consideration of bid recommendation for the purchase of a truck chassis for a small refuse truck for the Department of Public Works. Director Lee, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Smith, Mayor Moore, and council members. The Department of Public Works is requesting approval for the purchase of a specialized truck chassis designed for mini garbage and recycled trucks. The department is recommending of the approval, as we discussed in a work session, for a total cost of $65,495 to Duvel and Williams of Glen Burnie, Maryland. And I'm available if you would like to have any more questions.
All right. This item was discussed in the work session on September 7th. You have any questions for the Director Lee? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
And Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the bid as recommended by Director Lee. Small chassis truck in the amount of $65,495 to the vendor. I forgot the name that you recall on the record.
Can I get a second?
Mr. President, I'll second that motion.
All right, any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith.
Yes. All right. Agenda item 8B, consideration of bid recommendation for the purchase of a T300 diesel engine replacement for vehicle 322 refuse truck for the Department of Public Works. This item was also discussed at the work session on December 7th. Director Lee, you have the floor.
Thank you. As you discussed, this is an engine replacement for a complete engine failure of one of our trucks. And the Department of Public Works is recommending approval for this T300 diesel engine for the total cost of $42,394.05 to Cummings of Baltimore. I'm available if anyone has any more questions.
Any questions or comments for Director Lee from the council? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make a recommendation to approve the bid recommendation of $42,394.05 for Cummins in Baltimore.
And can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith.
Yes. Agenda item 8C, consideration of a recommendation for the replacement of the asphalt parking lot at the Stephen P. Turney Recreation Complex for the Department of Parks and Recreation. This item was also discussed at the work session on September 7th. Director Bailey, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, and City Council. The Department of Parks and Recreation is requesting approval to resurface the parking lot at Stephen P. Turney Recreation Complex. We received 3 bids on this. The first bid at FMS for $92,550. Stanley Concrete, $135,000, and Asphalt Star for $77,800. The funding for this expenditure is provided for in the FY 2020 CIP, and it is the recommendation. We are recommending that the city accept the bid of $77,800 from Asphalt Star out of Millersville, Maryland. I'm available for any questions.
All right. Any questions or comments for Director Bailey before I call the vote? All right, Madam Clerk, oh, sorry, I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, Mr. President, I make we approve the bid recommendation, amount of $77,877 asphalt in Maryland. Research the parking lot, Stephen P. Turney Recreation Complex.
And can I get a second?
Mr. President, I'll second that motion.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith.
Yes. All right, moving on to agenda item 8D, consideration of the bid recommendation for the enterprise vehicles for the Laurel Police Department. This item was also discussed at the work session on September 7th. Chief, you have the floor. Chief
Good evening,
Hamilton.
Mr. President, Mayor Moe and the council members. Before I say that, I just want to thank everybody for your kind comments for our officers over the past couple of months and their activities. We greatly appreciate it. As for this intent to purchase agreement, we are respectfully requesting permission to sign an intent to purchase agreement regarding the ongoing leasing contract with Enterprise Fleet Management. We have been advised that by submitting the intent to purchase document at this time, we may be able to lock in a lower cost on this purchase for the vehicles slated to be leased for this 2023 budget cycle. These vehicles are included in our budget submission package that has been previously approved by this mayor and council. The projected cost for this fleet procurement for this cycle is $238,260, which is currently slated for a total of 16 vehicles. The contract lease is with Enterprise Fleet Management and includes outfitting the vehicles via priority install, which is through the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative through the award of RFP 060618-EFM. Funding for this lease acquisition is included in the adopted FY 2022 and FY 2023 capital improvement program fleet acquisition. It is respectfully recommended that the mayor and city council approve the signing of the intent to purchase agreement with Enterprise. Now I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions or comments for the chief? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'll motion that we accept the bid recommendation to proceed with the lease of the 16 vehicles.
All right, can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes.
President Smith.
Yes. Moving on to agenda item 8E, consideration of a bid recommendation for the purchase of ammunition for the Laurel Police Department. This item was also discussed at the work session on September 7th. Chief Hamlin, you have the floor again.
Thank you once again, Mr. President, Mr. Mayor, as well as the City Council. The department is requesting permission to purchase ammunition for fiscal year 2023 to be used in accordance with the training standards of the Maryland Police and Correctional Training Commission, as well as our own department. We will be writing the Maryland State contract, last four digits 0284 for this purchase through the gun shop. Funding for this purchase is included in the adopted FY 2023 operating budget in the account with the last four digits of 2571, entitled Ammunition Purchases, with a line item total of $60,000. It is respectfully recommended that the mayor and city council approve the purchase of this ammunition in the amount of $59,997.92 through the Maryland State contract pricing. I'm available for any questions and thank you in advance for your assistance.
All right. Any questions for the chief on this one? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I vote we approve the recommendation of $60,000 ammunition to the Laurel Police Department. That's chief read on record.
All right, and can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Mitchell. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
President Smith.
Yes. All right, moving on to agenda item 9A. Introduction and first public hearing on ordinance number 1999, text amendment number 262, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland to amend the Unified Land Development Code, Chapter 20, Land Development and Subdivision Regulations, to update the use tables in residential, commercial, industrial, and office zones, to update the schedule of parking requirements, and to update the definitions therein. I've read the title into the record for the first reading. This legislation was discussed at the September 7th work session. Director Love, you have the floor.
Thank you and good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, and City Council members. As was mentioned at the work session, Ordinance 1999, this is the sixth phase of the Unified Land Development Code update. It is the proposed changes to update and add various definitions, as well as to add and update the residential, commercial, office, industrial use tables and parking requirements. Overall, there were just 7 sections that were amended in this update. Big things we wanted to highlight were we anticipate we want to open up some commercial opportunities within the city with the additions to both the use table and definitions for wineries, boutique wineries, commercial kitchens, and food truck lots. As I also mentioned, I said we anticipate this is probably going to be the last update that involves the full code for some time. There may be singular sections that we do update, but we think this is finally going to bring our long phased code updates to an end. So thank you very much.
All right. Any questions or comments for Director Love? All right, Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak?
Mr. President, there's nobody signed up to speak on this item.
All right, well, I'm going to open the public hearing at 6:57 p.m. and I'm going to close the public hearing at 6:57 p.m. Second public hearing with possible action at the Mayor and City Council meeting will take place on Monday, September 26, 2022. Moving on to agenda item 9B, introduction and first public hearing on ordinance number 2000, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland to amend Chapter 6, Elections, Article 2, Election Officials, to increase the membership of the Board of Election Supervisors to 5 members and providing an effective date. This item was recently discussed at the work session on September 7th, 2022. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Mr. President, Mayor Mo, and council members, I just want to add to what Ms. Green reported at the work session. The board's responsibilities and duties have increased over the years, and it is time, I believe, as clerk to the board, and the board also agrees, they discussed it at their last meeting, that they have 2 additional members added. This will give a chief judge, this will give an additional chief judge in both of the wards. So there will be a chairperson and a chief judge from Ward 1 and Ward 2. The duties are great for this board, and it's mostly a volunteer board. They do get paid a small stipend, but most of the time they are working as a volunteer with the service. So it is time. Most of the boards in the area, the city of College Park, the city of Tacoma Park, Hyattsville, and New Carrollton, they all have 5 to 7 member boards. So I ask your support on this legislation, and that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Any questions for Madam Clerk?
Mr. President, no question, but a comment.
Sure.
I'm very excited to see this legislation. We have a lot of experience in our chief election judges right now, but this legislation will allow us to have some new blood, some new ideas, and people to learn and get experience to continue having successful elections in Laurel.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Cole. Any more comments or questions for Madam Clerk? All right. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak on this?
Mr. President, there's nobody signed up to speak.
All right. Well, I'm gonna open the public hearing at 7 p.m. and I'm gonna close the public hearing at 7 p.m. A second public hearing with possible action is gonna be scheduled for the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, September 26, 2022. Lastly, moving on to agenda item 9C, introduction and first public hearing on ordinance number 2001, an ordinance to amend the general operating budget and capital improvement program of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland for the fiscal year of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, and to provide an effective date. This item was also discussed at the September 7th work session. Director Saylor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mayor Mo, and council members. This sixth and final amendment to the FY22 budget is an overall decrease of $7,165,431. The largest share of that is to close out the American Rescue Plan program funding, closing it out from FY22. We will be back next month for allocating those funds and the second installment of funds to the FY 2023 budget. This ordinance also provides for an additional transfer to the capital improvement program for fleet replacement, as well as an additional contribution of $250,000 to the city's pension fund. Also, there are transfers within the Public Works budgets to account for the increase in the tipping fees, as well as transfers within Parks and Recreation maintenance accounts for the increase in city facility utilities. So that is the overall changes to the budget in this last ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Saylor. Any questions or comments for Director Saylor? All right, Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak?
Mr. President, there's nobody signed up to speak.
All right, well, I'm going to open the public hearing at 7:02 p.m. and I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:02 p.m. The second public hearing with possible action will be scheduled for the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, September 26, 2022. There being no further business to come before the Mayor and City Council, this meeting is adjourned.